Welcome back, and I hope you're having fun with this course and experimenting a little bit with Google Scripts as well as Ajax and JSON. So in this lesson, I wanted to spice things up a little bit more, and I wanted to add another button which is going to do another Ajax call. So this is going to be fill data. And what this is going to do is get random user. So it's not going to connect from our Google Sheet, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to populate our input with some random data. And this is going to be fairly simple and straightforward. So we're going to use that same click there. I'll put it right at the top. We can always clean this up with some functions to separate out our event handlers from the actual functionality. But for this case, we're just going to keep it as is. So the one that I wanted to connect to, so let's take a look at where we're connecting. So this is random user generator ME. And they even have the Ajax code nice and neatly laid out there for us. So we could simply copy and paste it if we wanted to. Or we could write it out from scratch. So this they're using the Ajax method. There's also the shorthand that we saw where we could do get JSON. So it works the same way. So what it's doing is it's connecting to this API and it's pulling back some information. So let's quickly take a look at it within Postman. And this is going to be a get, send, and there we go. So we get a ton of great information there that gets output. And the nice thing about Postman is it's got this pretty feature. So we don't get this. We can actually read the data and see it. And there's some of the information here like first name and last name that we can utilize within our code. So let's go back into our page and we've got get random user. So now we need to hook this up, this event listener up. So let's bring that down here, and instead of load data, this should actually be fill data. So let's refresh the page and see when we click it, then we get our information back. So that is that's exactly what we wanted because we want to return back this result information. So let's update the data that we're returning back. So we want it to get results and we want it to get the first item. So refresh again, random user. So there we go. So we've got our information is there ready to use. And now we can populate it into our input fields. So let's do it this way where we're going to select input and name, and we're going to specify the name. So the first one, I believe we did it uppercase, so let's keep it consistent. So where the name equals first, and we're just going to set the value. So how do we get the value of first name? So we know that we've got the name, we've got within that name object. So we can even shorten this and we can call it something like object because all of the data that we're looking for is contained within the object, so that can shorten things a little bit for us. So name and first is the object that we want to populate this with. So the next one is going to be last and name of last. And I believe there was also a company, so I know that email is one of them that we looked at. Group, I'm not sure where we're going to fit that one in. And quickly looking through here, we had... So it doesn't look like we actually have company. So that one we might have to just leave blank, or let's see what we can fill out instead of company. So let's maybe do location. So location and city. So that's good for company. Just so that we have some type of value there. And it looks like I am running out of space here. So let's try to make this a little bit larger so that we're fitting all the statements on one line. So there was two left that we have to fill. So we have to grab group and email. So those are the two last ones, last names that we're looking for. So there's group and there's email. So for email, we did actually have a value there. So that was just email. So that was an easy one. We don't have to go through the object values there, the object keys. And lastly, we said for group. So there's a number of ones that we could use for group. The nationality, so the NAT, so group nat. So just keep it simple. And of course, if you're building this out, you can make it a little bit more robust. So let's try this out. So now when I do get random user, it's automatically filling it. And this is going to work nicely together with our Google Sheet when we're looking at them together. So now we can generate a random user. Let's bring back that post button to send it. Seems to have disappeared. So let's bring that one back. Refresh the page. So let's try this out. So we've got our Google Sheet there, generate a random user, and deposit that random user into our Google Sheet. Generate another random user, deposit them into our Google Sheet. So go ahead and try this out for yourself. Have some fun with it and get more comfortable with working with JSON and AJAX. And then you can even use Google Sheets, and there's a number of different ways to generate JSON data that you can make use of. And this was just one way to simulate sending data to a backend and then making use of that data, possibly placing it into a database and so on.